the sessions actually. Now, similarly, if you if you want to understand
Sir,
related values, so yeah,
sir, suppose we don't give the foreign key while creating the table, but later on we want it to be a
that is a
foreign.
DML, madam. Alter command you have to use. Okay, that we'll
Okay,
discuss later. So
okay,
the today's session we are focusing only. Yes, there is a possibility. All those things will be possibility with it. Okay.
okay.
So similarly, if you want to, you have asked a good question. So it is because out of curiosity, but that is correct only. Similarly, if I want to give the enumerations, how to do that. So this is what we have done. So okay. Create table, products, product ID, enumeration. So my enumeration is not working. See that. Okay. So single quote, double quote. So it is creating. So I have to see that. Well, copy paste something I have done. So create. So if you refresh here also, products, right? So it is there. Okay, it is able to create. So describe products. You can see this. Similarly, okay, we can able to create it. So we have understood that also in the last session. So we have understood. Now we were discussing about auto increment. What is this auto increment? We used to call this as a surrogated key. What is surrogated key? So surrogated key is nothing but instead of primary key of our own, the MySQL itself will provide it. Okay, that is called surrogated key. So in the surrogated key, if you want to create, so next is so use UPL underscore DB, show tables. So now we are talking about surrogated key. In this example, so we are giving the primary key, but along with that, we are adding the one term called auto increment because it will sequence automatically. You do not require to explicitly give. Only you have to give first name, last name, and enrollment date. If this was not there, even student ID also we require to give. So that is the nowadays no one wants to give the primary key. So always they use the surrogated key, that is like auto increment key 1, 2, 3. If I want to insert, it will add 1, 2, 3. Anyhow, we'll come back to this when we are discussing about insertion. Okay, so now similarly, if you want to ESC students, so you can able to see the information here. Extra information is auto increment. So this is what we can see that. So we have understood this as well. Similarly, if I want to add the timestamp, majority of time will work with the time. So if you want to work with that, so I think this example, yeah, this example will give. So how to give the time? So you have to give date, you can give time, you can give timestamp. Here current timestamp. So all these things are, this one you can do that. Events, create table events. Okay. So you can see that event ID, primary key, event name, event date, event time. So you can add date is the one, data type is there, time is there, timestamp is there. So you can add all those things. That is also possibility here as a part of the database. So if you want to describe event, describe. So it is the DSC events. Just we are working not we are not worried about insertion command or manipulation command. We will come back to that. But at this moment, we are only focusing on DDL commands. And similarly, there may be a situation that, okay, we wanted to have the multiple columns as a primary key. That is a composite key. How to give the composite key? So this is the best syntax it is going to tell you. The create a table, orders, okay, drop order. Drop table. Okay. Orders. So table drop is ordered. So, but this is created now. Now, if you describe what is called orders table, you can see that there are two columns. Order ID is a primary key. Product ID is also a primary key. This type of keys we call it as a composite key. We already discussed. More than one column we wanted to use as a primary key. Such keys are called primary key. You will not give primary key here. Instead of that, you can create a column level constraint. This is called column level constraint. So here primary key. What are the columns you want to make it as a primary key? Whether order ID or product ID. So this is the syntax of the to be followed for creating the composite key. Any questions here? Any questions here, please? Able to follow all of you? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Now, so we have understood. Okay. Now we have understood order ID, product ID, and quantity. So there is a composite column is possible. So let us move there. Next is, so table with unique. So I told about the unique constraint. So primary key we have understood, foreign key we have understood, composite key I have understood. So email ID is unique. So if you want to say that the constraint as this one, so we can take this one, crystal create table. So customers already, we have a table. So let me drop the table, customers. Okay, so then I created this, okay, customers. So if you look at here, customer ID int, no, primary key, this is okay. So you are making email ID is unique. So if they give it is not unique, it is not accepting. So that means it should not be repeated. But full name, if you make it unique, it will be a problem because in Indian context, some Manjunath name, n number of people will be there. So like this Krishna, n number of names will be there. So that's why full name cannot be unique, but email ID can be unique. So that is that's why we can say that if you want to say explicitly something to be unique, you can use the constraint unique. Primary key is unique, but not empty. Here empty also you can give that as one column, one row entry. So, but here there is no question of unique plus not null, we call it as a primary key. Similarly, the another constraint people are talking about before insertion and deletion. So we will be adding the check constraint. So like if I want to insert a record, so drop the table, employees. Okay, drop table employees. So now if I want to create an employee table, so here I have created primary key, age int, position this one. There is a column level constraint similar to a foreign key, composite key. There is a check constraint I can add. Age is greater than or equal to 80. So if you want to do that, so then that is called, this is what we call it as a check constraint. So we can, each time when you are inserting a record, so you can check the constraints also. So that is So age, you can by implicitly you can check it. So that is the check constraints we are talking. Similarly, so finally, what we have understood, a constraints are a rules at which the table structure can be defined from that. Okay. So there are, first one is primary key constraint, which is nothing but the column name is unique and not null. So this is that syntax, create table name, column name, data type, primary key, we have understood. Similarly, unique constraint ensures that only one value it can have, that is a create table, your table name, column name, data type, unique. Similarly, foreign key, we have understood, create table orders, first primary key, and foreign key is nothing but a primary key of the other table, like a customer ID is in that primary key of the customer's table we are referring here. So that means order is placed by this customer. If you want to say this, okay, then this type of constraints we call it as a foreign constraint. Also, we looked into a check constraint. So check constraint is defines before inserting a record or modifying the record, it can be validated. Similarly, if you want to give some default value to the column, so here enrollment date, default current date, that means the current date will be inserted here. This is now we can talk about a default constraint. So default constraints also can be used. And not null constraint, if you want to say that I don't want to allow empty, then not null, we can give this. So like this, we have these constraints, which is helping to maintain the database in the proper way, so that like it should not create come up with some anomalies or problems. So this is what we call it as a constraint. So that means DDL has how to create a table, how to add the constraints into the table, that we have understood. So any questions before proceeding to the next topic? Yeah, in chat box you can message me. Okay. Any questions from anyone? If no, I can proceed.
Sir, if they are, we have to check two columns, then the check constraint will be two times?
Yeah, check constraint can be given, but see, that is and condition, between conditions. So all those things are there. Okay. Check age and not null. Okay. All these things you can do. The and condition will be there. Okay. But you have to use the check keyword. Okay. So if you have something like this, something name, weight care, 250. Okay. Check. I am talking about name. So you have to follow the syntax of SQL. So like this, if you do, so you can add this type of constants. You got it right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So this is how. So similarly, we have understood what are the different types of constraint. Now there is one more concept in DDL is called views. Okay. So what are views? And we wanted to understand this. What are views? Why these views are so much important? Views are nothing but, okay, if you have, there is a, assume that you are working in a company, and you are working under, you are a DBA or some major data you have. Someone will come and ask, okay, I need a payroll information, HRA information, something like that. You have a table of employee information, you have a payroll information, and another 3, 4 tables are there. and there may be another department person, he wants to view that and do some report on that. I have a fear that, okay, if he does mistake, probably it may hit back to me. So that means I may not be able to like what we call it as a uh, like a, so may lose the work, like a, whatever the work we have done. To overcome that, what we can do is we can, instead of giving access to a table, I can create a virtual table. Virtual table in the sense that is from that original table, we are making one more wrapper table. I can say that is a virtual table. So which can be derived from these tables, and it does not store any data itself. Instead, it represents a stored query that can be executed like a regular table, but it is the information is fetched from all those tables. Views provide several advantages by simplifying the complex queries, abstracting the underlying data structure, enhancing the security, and allowing the data abstraction and encapsulation. Means if I have a payroll, HRA, employee information, all three information, all the columns are not needed to the another person. So then what I can create is one virtual table I can create, that is called as a view. And I can give but actually when you create a view, whatever the data is in employee, HRA, and payroll, always will be there. But the query, what you are going to write is related to your views, and dynamically it can execute and fetch the data for him, whichever the column he wants. What is the importance of this? Simplicity and abstraction. So for that client, you do not require to understand, okay, maybe payroll has around 12 columns. And like, for example, if he goes for employee information, it may be 25 column informations are there. And similarly, HRA may be something like that, HR related something, I assume that 2-3 columns are there. So as the third party person, he do not require to understand all the columns. Rather, he can look at the views and based on the whatever the columns and whatever the request he has made. So that's why the simplicity and what we call it is abstraction is one of the aspect of views. Views allow you to simplify the complex queries by encapsulating into a single, easily manageable entity. So security, views can be used to control the access as well to certain columns, rows of data, ensuring that users only see the data they are authorized to view. So only I want to give the employees details whose salary is lesser than 50,000 and only 4 columns on the original table. So in such situation, the security aspect also will be covered. So data integrity, that is the third point. Views can enforce business rules and data integrity by presenting a controlled and consistent subset of data to the users. Performance, since it is a views can be used to pre-compute and cache, okay, we can improve the performance as well if required. And views can hide the like a table structure and provide a consistent interface even underlining schema changes. So that's why views are most powerful technique to derive the data from more than one table. So that's why this is called as a virtual table. So if you want to perform certain operations, okay, on the views, it depends upon the certain conditions will be there. If you modify the view, what will happen? So your question will be there. If I want to try to delete something, okay, what will happen? So that's why you should have to understand of all these things. Views update. Updatable views. Views can be updated if they meet the certain criteria. So simply you cannot update like a normal table. It has to adhere to the following rules. Views must preference only one base table. It is not the combination of more than one table, then you cannot update. So assume that you have a three tables you have referred, and out of 3 tables you created a view, then you cannot able to update. Okay, you cannot able to update. Only you can able to update if the views created on the only one base table. So that is the first condition. View must not contain aggregated functions like a group by. If you say group by, we cannot able to handle the anything update related queries here. Views must not use distinct, union, intersect, and except operators. You cannot use this actually. We must not use top class. Yeah. Rigid Joseph, do you have any question? Okay. So the view must not use top class in SQL Server or limit class in other databases. So if you wanted to have a restricted kind of things, you cannot able to modify the views. Otherwise, just you can use for only viewer. 90% of the time, the views will be used for reporting kind of purposes, where like we bring the data from various other database table and we can use it. For example, but if it is only one table, you can perform all kind of operations. So that is what you have to remember. So let us see that and try to understand the views, how we can create. Let me create a one original table first. Okay, let me have a department ID, department name. So let me go here. So let me use this. Okay. Let us copy paste. Created a table, departments, department ID, department table. So we have created. So refresh this. So I have created the department table. So in this department ID, department. For usage purpose, I am trying to insert some flow record. Don't worry about insert syntax as of now, because we are going to learn in the next session. So departments, this is the table. I am passing the ID and name of the department. So one engineering department, marketing department, sales department, finance department or finance department. So we are able to insert. So let me explore, select rows. So you can able to see all the columns are inserted. Similarly, I will create an employee table. So employee may be working for certain department. So let me write it. Create employee ID, name, department ID. Department ID is the foreign key, referring to the table department what we have created. So we are able to create. So it already exists. We drop this. So let me create this. So we have created. First one is department. Next one we have created is employees. Now I will insert the records to the employees also. So I can insert records to the employees. So I am executing this. So that means we have select star from departments. Select star from departments. We have 4 department. So then select star from employees. We are just creating the base table now. So we have base table. Department ID is a from foreign key. These are the position and these are the salaries. So we have understood. Now I want to create a view. Okay. I want to create a view. So this is the combining the employee information and respect to departments. So let me combine this. Now you will get an idea what is view structure. So we have 2 original table and someone wants employee details. In that employee ID is the first name, last name, department name, position, salary. So your employee, he is an alias. It will be joined with which department? D. And what is the condition? What is the condition? Employee who is working for particular department means those information I am adding as a employee details. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. So we have done this. So we are able to execute, select star from employee details. So here, as good as we are writing a query on that. But if you look at this, this is a view. It is a virtual table. It is a virtual table. Okay. So it is based on the condition we are giving. So majority of time when we are doing the reports earlier, we used to write a views. Data analysis people, what they will do, they may be referring to the more than one table. To simplify that, they can create a joins. Okay. I have not explained what is join also. Please understand. We are going to discuss all those things. But as of now, we are discussing that, okay, there is a how to create a table, how to create a database, how to create a view, all DDL commands, all DDL commands. So here create view name as this is a select query. So you do not require to bother what is join. This is nothing but employee and departments we have combined on particular condition. So anyhow, in join concept, we are going to discuss this. But at this moment, our focus is towards only like how to create a view and what is the purpose of the view. So what is the purpose of view? In the upcoming sessions, you will be able to understand other things and you do not require to worry as if it is a big complex logic. Similarly, another view I can create the high paying employees. High paying employees, predefined conditions. So just create view name as select query. So we have done that as well. Now, if you want to see that, select star from. Okay. Now, if you look at this, so you can able to see whoever got more than 70,000, only those records I want. So then for that, they have created a view. Sometimes for generating the report, it is required actually. For this, what we have done, select queries, right? Select from employee table, select from the paying. There was no difference between select query of original table and select the select query of what we call it as a select query of the views also. That means in both the cases, views like a normal queries only will be used. But only thing is, how do you create a view? That is most important for us. Creating a view is the one of the challenging task. So if you are able to understand the essence of creating view, then it can be operated. So we have understood. So what is views? So we have understood what is views, and also we have understood the like how to use it. Any questions here in understanding the views?
Sir, while you were taking us through denormalization, you said
Yeah.
it is used to enhance the read performance. So views are also similar to that, or we are just creating a virtual table to read and refer from the tables. So what is uh, the difference?
No, see, denormalization is nothing but a join, right? That is a table. Okay, you can join on a table. But what we are talking is like we are creating a temporary views or a table. For example, assume that you see, basically, let me go here. Assume that like you are working on the some metric the tool. Okay, metrics means you wanted to measure project database metrics, like when it is the start time. Okay, what is the effort, project ID? Okay, and project ID and end date, something like this. There are other columns also there. So in this one. Similarly, I may require one more database which is related to the like for example metrics risk, something like that. So it is a risk in the sense risk mitigation means what is the risk ID, what is the mitigation they are using. So like this, there may be some other columns also. Similarly, there may be a if you want to do this, okay, what we call it as a performance, something like employee performance. some HR. So there may be a the performance ID, okay, and name, what we call it is a grade, something like that. So like this, we have some other things. Now, if you join these three tables directly, okay, then that is a joins. But what we are talking about is there may be someone else come to your department. He is automating not only from your table, but also other tables also is there, but that belongs to the other department. Then what we can do is instead of, because these are all sensitive data, instead of like some modification, if you do, if it is affecting, rather than if you want to keep separating, so we will ask you to write, okay, create a view. Okay, it's a temporary kind of view, create a view. So by selecting whatever the records he has, records in the sense the columns he need. Maybe he required only project ID from this one. And there may be he required risk ID and mitigation, something like that. So other one he may require a grade, something like that. So I am not talking in general. So I am talking. So this is a view. If I just if you make it, this is as select as. So when you do this, okay, select from all these things, something you can do that, which table as something like that. You may do union or intersection, anything you can do that. So this is finally we get the create a view XYZ. So the XYZ is the view name, but it is working on the original table by following certain criteria to update this one. But finally, normally people are using for reporting purpose. But like reporting means drawing the graph and insights. Okay, as a data analyst or data scientist, graph analysis. Okay, so for that we will use the reporting concept, and using that we can modify. We can view the data without thinking about other columns. Start time is not needed, end time is not needed. Only relevant information will be seen, and this query will be saved. As and when it is required, directly it is executing on that and it is showing that. So this is called virtual table. It is not an actual table, but it is acting like a virtual table. Whereas if you apply directly here joins and all those things, you are applying for the original table. So it is just like a normal table. But permanently, if I want to give someone else for security reason, it is better to not to expose everything rather than we just create a view. So is it your question answered, madam?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So now we have understood, okay, what is the view. Now next is, there one more important concept, usually normally we forget, okay, but for me it is important, index. For example, in your textbook, if you see the index page number, we mean to say directly you can traverse, right? Similar kind of concept is here also called as an index value. What is the index? Index is in the database structure that improves the speed of data for retrieval operation on the database tables. So it is improving that. Okay. So it works similar to a index in a book, allowing a database management. So quickly locate a row to the corresponding specific value in indexed column. So that's why people are using the indexing concept for query optimization. I'm not getting into all these things because these are the inner data structure used for the indexes. Now, if you want to create an index, okay, there are only one column you will use, that is called non-clustered index. If I want to use multiple columns like a composite key, and if you want to create on that, that is a clustered index. So the index, if you want to create, see there will be index name, and on that which table we can tell it. By default, in most of some of the databases, it will be indexed on the primary key. Indexed on the primary key by default. Okay. But if you want to index for based on some other column, then you have to create a indexes. How do you create indexes? Assume that this is the original table. If you want to create on the last name some indexes, that means last name frequently people are using it. So instead of giving the sequential search, better to make an index. When they create an index, so last name, if they fetch directly, it will be able to access it. So the create index last name on students and last. So this is how we can create a index. So if you can create an index, so create index name, and on which table and which column. So this type of index we call it as a okay. So we are talking about a indexes. So indexes is helping to perform query very fast. Similarly, after that you can insert it and you can see that okay. And so then after that you can perform a queries. Okay, and that is how you can do that. How do you do that? So let's start from like a students where last name is equal to Smith. So then what it is doing, IDX last name, B-tree index, quickly locate the relevant rows. So what is B-tree? It is out of scope. You have to learn algorithm and understand that in the algorithm subject. But as of now, you can say that there is a one algorithm has been applied to retrieve such data. Similarly, using bitmap index. So you can use this, okay, to optimize your queries. And similarly, non-clustered, this one, we can use like this also. Age can be used as an index. So you can modify many indexes. So by default, majority of time, they will index based on the primary key. In case if any support is needed, other columns will be considered. So any questions here, madam? So all of you are able to understand what is index. Index is nothing but it is a similar to your textbook, pointing directly to the record so that we can improve the performance. Yeah. But every database which is deployed, always it will be indexed. Always it will be indexed. So look up more than hardware. They are here the functionality should be achieved, and that's why people are using the indexes to improve the performance of the query. Yeah. So any questions here? Ansi, Archana, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah,
No,
no
sir.
question. Okay.
No.
So all of you are able to follow, right? Yeah. So next is we are talking about one more concept. So the time is almost over. Okay. Just quickly, I will tell you. Create schema. Okay. What is schema and database? So now, what is schema and database? Logically, we can understand. If you take this example, we have a university. Assume that we have a like one database. So database maybe like you can create the physical something. Use university is the one database. I can create one database like university, something like that. So let me make you people to understand. So let me create this. Create a database university. So let me create this. So now I have to select this. I am using this university I went. Now, if I want to use it in the command prompt, I have to use database, use university. Otherwise, I can double click. So that is what I have done in the workbench. Now, this may be having, logically I can divide. Logically, I can divide. That is maybe a schema. Sometimes most of the time, so people are used in the interchange words. That's why. So I can create a schema similar to a database. So this is engineering schema. So I have created schema. And similarly, science. Okay. So engineering science, but it is a part of university only. We are operating like this. And I can use engineering and create a students in that. So use, and I can create a student. So Usually, the representation, you should be very logical. Similarly, use signs. Okay, use signs and double click. So then I can create a. So likewise, I can create a university is a database. In that science is the schema, and we can. This is how we can do that. Then we can, based on the university and based on the schema, we can work. So this is what we are talking about, a schema, creating a schema. So we have understood quickly how to create a, what is data definition language. Data definition language is nothing but creation of a database, creation of a table, creation of a views, creation of a index, and also we have understood what are the constraints we can apply when you are creating it. So with this note, we can conclude the data definition language. Any questions before conclude? Yeah. So all of you are able to follow, right? What is DDL there? Okay. So in the next session, tomorrow session, we'll get into your DML and we'll talk about the insert, delete, update queries and how to use all those things, alter table and all those things. So next 2 days, we'll discuss about the DML. So thank you very much for all of you joining. Thanks a lot. Okay. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you, madam. Thank you.